a registered nurse for over 35 years, and she has graduated from North Carolina Central University and has received her Master of Science degree in nursing from East Carolina University. She also holds a certification in the care of adult medical and surgical patients. She is a wife, mother, and born again child of the Most High King.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Family Health Matters. I'm your host, Wendy Bridgers. We are here every Thursday from 3 to 3:30 on Awesome Radio 106.9 FM. We invite you to join us every Thursday and come find out why it is important to know things that's going to help take care of our families. So excited to have with me in the studio today a newfound friend and colleague and well, good associate, I guess I would put it like that, because she's become a really important part of my life. I have Kiara Robbins with me on the show today. Let me tell you a little bit about her. She has a master's of science in exercise physiology, and she is a doctoral student. She's getting her doctorate degree in kinesiology. Yes, the study of the movement. And she also has an American College of Sports Medicine clinical exercise physiologist. And she's a personal trainer, and she's also a certified Zumba instructor. Yes. So welcome to Family Health Matters, Kiara. Our topic today is making time to exercise. And before we jump into our topic, Kiara, anything else you want to share about you and what you're doing with your doctorate or what?
So I recently just joined a doctorate program, deciding to go ahead and making a decision to hopefully in the near future have my own program and my own business going just to help individuals. I have loved every moment of it. It is an experience. I've only been involved for only 5 or 6 months or so. So it's definitely a different experience than my master's program, but I did receive my master's in exercise physiology at ECU or East Carolina University. And I'm currently doing my doctoral program at Concordia St. Paul's, which is actually located in Minnesota.
All right. Well, congratulations. We're looking forward to hearing exciting things about you.
I'm very excited about that.
Yes. Now I said your doctoral program. Now tell us, I know what it is, but tell us what kinesiologist is.
So kinesiology overall is the study of the human body, the movement of the human body. And I am specialized, or my studies is focused on exercise physiology. So understanding how exercise can impact the body. And I have a sweet spot when it comes to just in general working with individuals. I like to focus on preventative care. I also like to focus on rehab. So after you have gone through rehab, such as physical therapy, cardiac rehab, exercise, any type of rehab, I want to keep you going. And so hopefully I do a good enough job to keep you motivated to keep moving. So I want to avoid you from getting those injuries or having those incidents, and I'll hopefully avoid for you to go back.
Awesome. All right. I love it. This is great. So now going back to our topic. Oh, well, let me say this. If you're interested in joining this conversation, which I hope you will be, you can call in here at the station at 252-756-2008. Again, that's 252-756-2008. Call in, get a question answered while we have an expert at the table. So making time to exercise. Everybody seems to think exercise is painful or is just like a really, well, not everybody. I take that back. Some people. So why is it important for us to exercise?
Well, exercise has a lot of direct benefits to your body itself. We have the long health benefits of, for example, I would start to look better, I start to feel better, but the actual physical benefits that come along with exercise is a direct effect. So it helps decrease your blood pressure, helps decrease your glucose levels. We start to get a release of endorphins in our body, so we start to enjoy the movement. Now the first half is usually not the best because we start to feel sore. There's a lot of pain that kind of comes along with it because we're starting to do new movements that we haven't done before. But once we can kind of get you past that there, it starts to become a part of your life, and our goal is to make this your lifestyle.
Oh, okay.
So it is sometimes one of those things. So why is it important? Why do I need to make it, we don't want to make it look like a chore. We want it to be a part of your life.
Okay, and I've always heard that before you started any type of exercise regimen, and I'm a nurse, the first thing we tell people, check with your primary care provider.
Absolutely.
Is that the same going no matter what kind of program it is or what you're planning? Okay.
Absolutely. You always want to check with your provider, just for a variety of reasons. Want to make sure there's no limitations. Sometimes we do have limitations when it comes to medications. We have limitations due to our injuries, or if we had any replacements of hip replacements, shoulder replacement. It just varies. So before we make an actual exercise program, you want to talk with your doctor. You bring that information with you to meet with me, or another exercise specialist. And you want to just make sure you talk with your exercise professional about, hey, these are the medications that I'm on. Is there going to be any effect when it comes to exercise? Because some medications do mask like your heart rate, will mask your blood pressure. And we need to be aware of things like that.
Okay. So now you said if we're going to come to a specialist, then we need to have that information. But suppose I just decide that I want to just do some exercise. Do I still need to go check?
Well, it's always recommended. You always want to just talk with your physician, because you never know. There could be some underlying causes. Now, if you are, once again, depending on your age, if you are a little bit on the younger side in your early 20s or in your early 30s, if you don't have any family history of any heart conditions, things like that, they will be perfectly safe. But it's always good to still talk with your doctor no matter what.
Let them know that you have
your plan.
Yeah.
There's other things that you may not think about or know that they may be able to help you and assist you with.
Okay, that's good.
And even like helping find a trainer or somebody too. So they do have that information.
Yeah, that good resource. A good resource.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so now the big question. Why is it so hard to find time to exercise?
Well, we are busy people. I mean, it doesn't matter if you are full-time, part-time, if you're a full-time mom, but it just varies. It is we have very busy lives. And the hardest part is to find the time. And why is it so hard to find the time is because we look at our schedule, where am I going to find 30 minutes to an hour to exercise? And we want to just try to plan it as much as we can to fit your schedule. So the best thing is to find somewhere that is local, probably, maybe doing things at home if you can. It varies. So time is hard. But we just need to understand that doing anything is better than nothing. So that's one of our biggest impacts, or biggest thing I always like to recommend to everybody. Do what you can. It's better than nothing. So I'd rather you say, well, I only have 5 minutes. I don't have 30 minutes, but I have 5 minutes. I could do a brisk walk outside, or I could take my lunch break and walk outside instead. So it just varies, but it is hard to find time because we are busy people. Along with that, I mean, why is it also so hard to find the time is we have families. And if our families are involved with other items or activities, such as kids that are doing sports, you put all your energy into your family. Sometimes we forget about ourselves. So try to get your family involved with it as well.
Yeah, I like that. And when you said that about your kids involved in sports, I remember when our children were small and they were doing soccer. And during the time where they were actually practicing was a good time for us to walk the field.
Yes.
So some of us moms just took that same time that they were practicing to actually walk around the field.
And that's a perfect way to do that.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be a formalized, formal exercise program.
And you know what? And I think a lot of times we hear the word exercise, we really start to think about the gym. So technically, exercise is a structured time that you are deciding to do physical activity or physical movement, versus physical activity is just day-to-day movements. So American College of Sports Medicine recommends 30 to 60 minutes of physical activity. So we're just asking everybody to move. But when it comes to exercise and you decide that your child is playing basketball and you said, you know what, I'm gonna walk around while that child is playing basketball, that is exercise because you made time to do it.
Okay.
So that's the technical differences between the two.
Okay, to actually put the deliberate amount of time associated with it.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So what about, can I count it that I'm exercising, say when I'm watching TV and the commercial comes on, they have like the 30 minutes.
That is
the 30
technically
second.
that is exercise, because you made that commitment of, I'm during this 30 seconds, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna do something, and I'm gonna do
Intentional.
squats. So you're making that time for yourself. Now, if you decide to get up for that 30 seconds and do the laundry, that's a little bit more different because we're folding laundry. Well, that's physical activity, but that item of actually sitting down and squatting for that 30 seconds is going to be more intentional for a particular body movement or a particular part of your body.
That's great. That's great, because I never thought about the difference between the activity and the exercise.
Yes.
Okay, so it's intentional when I go to say purposely and say I'm going to do this for a certain amount of time, then I can say I'm exercising.
Yes.
Versus saying, well, what about when I vacuum the floor?
Well, that's going to be more physical activity. Okay. So this is something that's going to be
still not exercise. Okay, I get it. I get it.
But once again, so it's a fine line. It's a very fine line between the two. But that's why we do the recommendation of physical activity. So when you come to the gym or when you decide to run 30 minutes on the treadmill or 30 minutes outside, that's an intentional program that you have set up that you're going to exercise, versus that 30 minutes of vacuuming or folding the clothes. That's more of that day-to-day living that is associated with physical activity because you are physically moving, but we're not really getting the heart rate up to a certain percentage. We're not overloading the muscles to a certain weight or things like that. So there's kind of a little bit more like technical terms between the two, but at the end of the day, we just want to move.
Just to move.
Because we are not moving as much as we should be.
So jobs that entail a lot of movement and lifting, that's your job.
That's going to be your activity. So for example, as an exercise specialist, I do a lot of movement throughout the day, but I have to set a time, intentionally set 30 minutes to an hour for me to do my exercise, because if I don't, then I get all like stressed out and everything else comes along with it, because that time is my time. Versus, think about it, physical activity at the home where you're cleaning at the house. Yes, but are you really decompressing? Are you really able to feel how your body is feeling during this time? So we want to think about more of the mindfulness when it comes to exercise. We want to enjoy it. We want to feel good that we are putting this time out for ourselves.
Oh, now that brings me to another thought. I was looking at TV a couple of days ago, and they were talking about mindful walking.
Ooh.
Tell me about that. I heard what they said about it, but I thought it would be a good little throw in that we could do today. Tell us about mindful walking.
So,
I know we stroll,
yes.
but what's mindful walking?
So when you think about mindful walking, especially when I think about mindful walking, it is that intention of, yes, you're walking. I like to always say walk with a purpose, and we're always walking with a purpose, but definitely kind of having a decent pace. So we want to have our heart rate up, slightly elevated. But then you want to also have your mind set on what you're focused on. So I want to think about maybe listening to a radio station, for example.
And family health matters.
And you know what? For this 30 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and be walking and exercising, listening in. And, and during this time, I'll be very focused on what's entailing in this conversation. If anybody's like, nowadays we have so much distraction, we want to be focused and pulled in what we're doing. So that mindfulness, you want to be mindful of what you're doing, your environment, what's happening, how is your body feeling? Is it I noticed that this part of my neighborhood has just added in some new parts. So, I didn't know that my neighbors added this on here. So just being aware of what we're doing. If you don't want to walk in the neighborhood, or if you feel like the headphones is not the ideal for me personally, walking outside, just listening to the birds. That's, never noticing the things all around you. So that's what we want to think about when we hear about mindfulness walking. You want to be mindful of what's going on with yourself, your body too. That's going to be ideal.
Okay. So in that mindful walking, is that a time to sort of, people say unplug,
yes.
To come, not think about job, not thinking about, what I got to do the next day. Or
absolutely.
Okay. So during that time of mindful walking or walking period, we shouldn't be planning for what we're going to do tomorrow.
Try not to, but I know it can be hard. But that's why, there's a variety of different apps that are out that help you with focusing on what you're doing. So there's walking apps where they talk about, how you're walking. Maybe let's try to increase your heart rate here. Let's try to go up the hill a little bit more. Just little things that will help motivate you. Because if, like I said, we're in a world where our phones distract us and we get the text messages and we're immediately looking and we're not focusing on our body and ourselves at that point in time. So if you can unplug, which sometimes it is hard, but if you can
Right.
unplug, definitely go for it. You know, leave the phone at home. Make sure you tell somebody where you're going now.
That's a good point.
Make sure you tell
Yeah.
somebody where you're going,
Yeah.
and just enjoy your environment. A lot of times that's how we have to do it. This is the only time we can have a little bit of peacefulness.
Mm-hmm. So, do you recommend walking with your phone, listening to music? Is that the person's preference?
It's the person's preference. Some people prefer having their phone with you just for safety reasons. Some people prefer to have their phones with them just so they have a song that they're playing that keeps them at a pace.
Mhm.
So you can use music as a pacer. So it really just depends on what your goals are. And then if you're looking for more of a meditative state, I would recommend leave the phone at home or find something like an app or some type of podcast or some type of songs that will kind of help relieve that running around with the mind.
Okay. So, what is the best time to exercise? What
The time wise, like daytime, evening time, like that.
Yeah, or just is it better to exercise before you go to bed? Is it better to?
It all depends on the person.
Okay.
Everybody is different. Some people prefer morning time. Some people prefer evening times, midday if you can. It just depends on if it's in your schedule and what's going to allow you to get the best results. Me personally, I'm not a morning person. You're not going to catch me doing anything at 5 a.m. And then sometimes evening times is too late. I have heard some individuals that, evening times is family time and I don't want to pull away from my family. So I prefer to work work out during the daytime. So it has to be whatever works for your schedule.
Okay, so it doesn't increase your energy if you do it like when you get ready to go to bed. If you decide that you're going to go, I know people say go take a stroll sometimes will help you relax a little bit after work.
And I would it really does help you compress. That's where
Okay.
that is going to come more into. You just kind of, once again, that unplugging of the workday, what's been going on. You're going to have that decrease in your blood pressure. You're going to feel a little bit more relaxed. That's coming along with it. You're going to have those endorphins that are being released, and it's going to be more enjoyable, and you can kind of relax. And then you can have the full effect depending on the type of workout you're doing. Like a stroll like that would be very more relaxing, but it varies. It really just depends on the individual. I wish we can have like this broad, that's why all our recommendations are very broad, but you have to listen to your body. Everybody
Right.
has to listen to their body and what your body prefers. If you notice that you exercise right before bed and it helps you sleep better, then I would recommend doing that because it helps you get through a nice good night rest and you woke up, you feel much more refreshed, your body have more time to recover. If you're a person that wakes up super early and it helps you get your day started, go for it.
That's so it's important to know your body.
You got to know
It
your
does.
body. And that's what
Okay.
exercise does. It does help you get to learn more about yourself. It allows you to push you to more over your limits. You think that you can't do something, and next you have somebody like me that like, no, you can do it. Go ahead. So, it's a really good time to really become one with your body and realize, okay, I really enjoy this. This is great. I didn't know I could do this, or I haven't done this for X amount of years.
Uh-huh.
And to have a progression like that it's really cool to see as well on as the size of the trainer.
Yeah, that's great. So what if people have asked me, how do you know if exercise is too much? What is too much exercise? What triggers or anything? Can you share something?
Yeah, so you can definitely overtrain. That is absolutely a possibility, and you have to be aware of that. And especially if you're working with somebody as an exercise specialist or professional, they should be able to help you identify when you have overtrained or you're overworked. Sometimes like everything, you just need to step back and then you come on back. Typically, as a trainer, we have a point in time in your training program where we will cut back and they will bring it back a little bit higher intense because you need to give your body time to rest and recover. So just the same thing with, working too hard, you eventually just crash. Your body will crash. You just need to make sure you give that time to decompress, relax. Now, that does not mean you stop exercising. That does not mean that, I worked out for a whole 3 weeks and I've been here 5 days, 5 days at the gym, or I've done something 5 days. Next week, I'm not doing anything. No, what that means because what happens is now we start to lose our habit. We start to lose that part of our lifestyle. So now we take that out of our lifestyle And next, we don't get back to it until
Yeah.
6 months later. But what we need to do is, instead of maybe hitting the weights, that we cut back on the weights, or we go to lighter reps, or we do lighter weights, less reps, or maybe instead of doing weight training, we do body weight, or we decide instead of running, we are just doing a light jog or walking. So instead of that intensity, we just pull it back.
Mm.
But if you have overtrained too much, ways you can kind of identify that is you start to feel like tired, really tired. You start feeling strains. You're not recovering as quick.
When you say recovering, what does that mean?
So after you are exercising and you're lifting weights, and you notice that instead of you taking a day and a half like it normally does, it's taking you 2 to 3 days to recover a little bit too long, and it's starting to interfere with your life. So if you notice that it's really starting to interfere with your lifestyle, it's taking you a little bit longer to do certain things, maybe just cut back a little bit on that exercising, and then kind of reset and go from there.
Okay. And so when I work out and I come back and my muscles are all aching, that means I work too hard.
Not necessarily working too hard. So it is normal to have soreness, especially once you start a regimen. It's normal to have some soreness. Because you are, causing some tension happening in those muscles, and there's small tears that are happening, and they're recovering in the process. So that's why we're getting that soreness. But it should take about 1 to 2 days of that soreness, where you should be like, "Ooh, I feel like I worked out." But if you are moving around and you're like, "Ooh, ah," or like you're hurting every moment, that you might have overtrained, you might have lifted too much weight. And that can happen at times where we decide we're feeling good on this, on this Thursday morning. Oh, I feel great. I'm gonna go ahead and try to do my PR, and which is a personal record, and you lift the heaviest you ever lifted, and that might cause you to have a little bit of an additional strain, or you might really feel that soreness for about 4 days, possibly. So it can happen. So you want to take it easy. So it really depends on your goal. If you have a trainer, talk with that trainer. This is what I want to do. How do I get to this position? And they should be able to help you there.
Okay. That's awesome. Now let's go back a little bit, and you refer back to personal trainers.
Yes.
Now, suppose we don't have a personal trainer. Do we still set goals?
Absolutely, we set goals.
Okay, so tell us how we're going to do that.
So you want to follow the SMART goal of, you want to have a specific time. You want to make sure it's measurable, it's attainable, it's realistic, and it's in a reasonable amount of time. So we want to set goals for ourselves, so that way we can feel proud of ourselves that we overcome this. So like, the goal can be, my goal for this week is to get to the gym 3 times a day, not 3 times, 3 times a week. For about 20 to 30 minutes. I was
going to say 3 times a day.
There's some people that are doing it now. But we just want to make those small goals like that and make sure they're attainable. So setting a goal like that is going to be more reasonable versus I'm going to go to the gym every day, 7 days a week for 30 minutes. Now that's a little bit harder to do versus, okay, I'm going to give myself 2 to 3 days. I want to be somewhere between there a week for 30 minutes. We want to make sure it's very specific, it's measurable and attainable, and it is tangible and reasonable, please.
Okay, good. It's something that, because you don't want to set yourself up for failure.
No, we don't want to do
started.
That.
Yeah.
And then you always have a overall goal. You have your big goal, and you have smaller goals in between. That's going to help you get to that big goal. And if you don't have a trainer, there's different programs that are online that you can look up. There's different apps that you can use that will help you. There's a variety of different tools that are out there that can help you set those goals and help you reach those goals.
So, but you don't want to push too hard, too fast?
Nope. You want to pace yourself, though. Okay. There's a way to pace yourself, and is understanding your body. And if you're not sure, that you reach out to anybody, any exercise professional, any exercise trainer. A lot of places tend to have consults, and you can talk with somebody and they can help you get to that goal. And if you're not able to find a trainer or anybody, always talk to your doctor.
Okay, good. So if you don't have weights, you mentioned to weights. Okay, tell us little ways we can be creative. So I'd say I don't go to the gym, and I need some weights. You don't mention weights, and you mentioned, the lifting and everything. So give us some pointers on how we could use what we have at home.
Oh, there are so many different tools at home that we can use that we don't even realize.
Oh, well, yeah. This is your chance to tell us about a few of them.
So we just have to get unique. You have to change the idea of what our equipment at home is. So for example, if we have stairs at home, okay, what I typically do whenever I have somebody at the my training session, I tell them to get onto the stair stepper, or I tell them to get on a step. Well, that step is a stair at home. You can get up and down that step. You could do step ups. You could do ladder step ups. You could do a whole routine if you want to using that first step. If you don't have a steps at home, you have a curb outside. A lot of times, a lot of people also have
that's
steps.
Good. I hadn't thought about that.
So, I mean, yes, the height is not the same, or it might differ, but it's better than nothing. You have wall push-ups that you could do. You can do a wall sit where you're sitting up against the wall to work on your quadriceps and your hamstrings. You could do wall push-ups working on your chest, your biceps. You can use your counter to do push-ups. You can use your counter to do tricep dips to work on your triceps. You can use your chair to do sit-in stands or squats or sit-ups. So the list goes on. And a lot of times there's a lot of videos that are online that show you a whole 30-minute to 60-minute workout just using body weight. So body weight is just as beneficial. And if at the end of the day, maybe weightlifting is not your thing, or you feel like you're not comfortable, walking. You can never go wrong with walking.
Never can.
You can never go wrong with walking. And there's different ways that, there's walking outside, walking in the house. Sometimes it's raining outside and we just, well, it's raining, I'm not going to go outside. Make it intentional to walk around the house, taking those extra steps. So that's why we give those step goals. We give you those cardio goals. So let's try to do this many miles or this many minutes. So there's different ways we set those goals that work best for you.
Okay, that's good. Because, sometimes when you're thinking about exercise, you can find all sorts of excuses.
Yes.
You can say, I don't have any weights, but then you got, like you said, the wall push-ups,
yes.
And then I think about, you got a gallon of milk.
Oh, you sure do.
So that's a weight. So you can be as creative as you
absolutely
want to be.
Hey, go ahead, grab some cans out the cabinet there. Yeah, they're 1 pound, but we can do a good amount of work with 1 pound. You do a couple of reps, it starts to burn. So it's just a matter of, once again, make that intention to do it. You have to set that goal for yourself up. I'm going to get up and I'm going to do it today. And then once you make that decision, that's the hardest part. We have a tendency of, well, I don't have the time, or if I don't know if I have the equipment, I don't have the resources, these different things. But once we make that decision of, I can do this if I do this at home. And then once you start taking action, we want to keep you going. So that's why we don't want to, when we start like, I've been working out for 3 weeks, I could take a week off. We don't want you to take a week off. We want you to take a week off in the sense of that specific training and just cut back a little bit and then get right back focused on that training.
And that is so true when you talk about I guess any habit, once you break the habit or you stop, it's hard to get going again.
It is.
And then you sort of regress.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, a lot of times, especially with exercise, there's a lot of times there could be some negative effects that come with it when somebody is exercising, they feel like they're they're doing great, they're on top of their game, and as soon as they stop and they decide I'm coming back, something, I'll have family problems or something happened at home or they got an injury. And as soon as they get back, they realize, well, I'm back to square one. So,
well, you know what, when we come back, so I'm speaking this, come back and go, we're going to talk about motivation. How to keep us motivated. So we are almost done. So again, I am your host, Wendy Bridgers. We are here every Thursday from 3 to 3:30 on Family Health Matters. And today my special guest was Kiara Robbins and has shared wonderful, wonderful information with us about why is it important to exercise and making time to exercise. Yes. So again, thank you for being here, Kiara.
Absolutely.
And everybody have a great day. Get out and take a walk.
We need
it. We are the station that brings you inspiration for the family and ministry, teaching for practical Christian living. Awesome Radio.
Partial funding for this program